Imagine spending the better part of a decade in school. Undergrad, medical school, boards, rotations, applications, interviews, years of working incredibly hard while watching your peers in other fields start to build their financial lives. Then one day it happens. You get the call, you get the promotion, the offer, whichever form that moment takes for you. The paycheck arrives, and for the first time in your adult life, your income actually matches your potential. That moment should be the beginning of something great, and for a lot of people, it becomes the beginning of a financial pattern that takes years to undo. Maybe you are not a doctor. Maybe you are an engineer who finally landed the role you spent years working towards, or a business owner whose revenue just crossed a threshold that changes everything for you. Someone who earned a promotion that finally puts real money in your hands for the first time. The professions may be different, but the psychology, however, is identical. Today, I want to talk about why this income jump so rarely produces the financial results that people expect, and what to do differently. I'm Ken Erdman, financial planner and founder of Erdman Financial Group in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Let's get into it. So here's the thing that nobody tells you about the moment your income finally catches up to your potential. It does not feel like a financial event. It feels like permission. And what do I mean by that is it's permission to finally buy the things you put off, permission to stop saying no to dinners or trips and experiences, permission to upgrade the car, the apartments, the wardrobe, permission to live like the professional that you worked so hard to become. And honestly, that feeling makes complete sense. You earned it. You delayed gratification a lot longer than most people ever will in their entire lives. You deserve to enjoy the fruits of that work. The problem, however, is not enjoying your income. The problem is what happens when spending expands to match and then exceed what is coming in. When that lifestyle you build immediately after the income jump becomes the baseline that you can never seem to get below, no matter how much you earn. There is a term for this. It's called lifestyle creep, and it is one of the most quietly destructive forces in personal finance. It does not happen all at once. It happens in small decisions that each feel completely reasonable in isolation. A nicer apartment because you finally can. A car payment that feels manageable on the new salary. A few subscriptions here and a few new habits over there. Before long, the spending that felt optional in year one feels essential by year three. And here's what makes it especially tricky. The habits and spending patterns you build immediately after an income jump do not automatically reset if your income jumps again. They scale up with it. The person who cannot save after the first big raise almost never saves after their second one either. The number changes, however, the behaviors do not. So I want to list 3 specific patterns that show up again and again when someone's income finally jumps. These are not character flaws, they are behavioral tendencies that almost everyone shares. Listing them out loud and learning about them is a first step to working around them. Pattern number 1 is spending before a plan exists. The paycheck arrives and the spending decisions happen immediately. New apartments, new car, a few new lifestyle upgrades, all of it feels earned and reasonable, but none of it was decided within the context of a plan. There was no conversation about how much to save first, what the debt situation looks like, or what financial independence actually requires. The spending just simply happened, and now it is the new normal. The single most important financial decision that you can make when your income jumps is to decide intentionally what your life costs before lifestyle creep decides for you. Pattern number 2 is ignoring existing debt because the income finally feels good. Whether it is student loans, credit card debt, or anything else carried from leaner years, debt has a way of feeling less urgent the moment the income improves. The payments feel more manageable, so the urgency to address it fades, but ignoring it does not make it smaller. Interest does not take a break because the life finally got better. Having a real strategy for existing debt matters far more than most people realize in the early days of an income jump. Pattern number 3 is assuming the next income jump will fix everything. This is the most dangerous pattern of the 3 because it feels like a plan when it is actually a postponement. The thinking goes like this. I am not earning enough yet to make real progress, so I will wait until the next raise, the next promotion, the next level, and then get serious about my finances. It sounds logical, but the next income jump brings the next round of lifestyle expectations, social pressures, and spending habits that arrive right alongside the bigger paycheck. The people who arrive at their peak earning years in the best financial position are almost always the ones who started building habits and making intentional decisions about the first income jump. Not the ones who waited for a bigger one. The gap between those two groups widens every single year. So, what should you actually do when your income jumps? I'm going to give you 5 moves that matter more than anything else at this stage. All right, so move number one is building a simple spending plan before you upgrade your lifestyle. It's not a complicated budget, just a clear picture of what is coming in, what your fixed costs are, and how much you have committed to saving before anything else gets spent. Do this in the first month before the lifestyle decisions get made. It is exponentially harder to cut back than it is to never expand in the first place. Move number two is building your emergency fund before anything else. 3 to 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account, unexpected expense without a cash cushion creates financial stress on top of an already demanding life. The emergency fund is not optional. It is the foundation that everything else is built on. Move number three is understanding your debt situation completely. Know exactly what you owe, what your interest rates are, and what your repayment options look like. These decisions have enormous long-term financial implications, and most people make them without ever fully understanding what they are choosing. A clear debt strategy, even a modest one in early days of an income jump, matters far more than people realize. Move number four is start investing something, even if it feels small. If your employer offers a retirement account with any kind of match, take advantage of that. If not, consider opening a Roth IRA. The amounts may feel modest relative to your goals, but the habit of investing before you spend, or paying yourself first, is the single most important financial behavior that you can build. It is far easier to maintain that habit as income grows than it is to start from scratch later. Move number five is getting a real plan in place before the next income jump arrives. Not after, before. The transition from one income level to the next is the most significant financial inflection point in anyone's life. The decisions made in that window about spending, saving, debt, insurance, and investing have compounding consequences for decades. Walking into that moment with a real financial plan rather than good intentions is one of the highest return investments that you can make. The income jump is not the problem. It is actually one of the greatest financial opportunities most people will ever have. The question is whether you meet it with intention or let it slip through the same patterns that kept you stuck before. That is where working with someone comes in, whether that is a full financial plan or simply having a clear strategy for this specific moment in your financial life. The transition into real earning power is too important to navigate on good intentions alone. You do not need to have it all figured out before you talk to somebody like myself. In fact, most people do not. You just need to be serious about getting there. All right, so let me wrap this up. The moment that your income finally matches your potential is one of the best feelings in the world. You earned it. Every late night, every sacrifice, every year grinding for less than you deserved. It was real and it certainly matters. The goal is not to stop enjoying it. The goal is to make sure that the decisions you make in this moment set you up for a financial life that is actually worthy of everything you worked to build. Lifestyle creep is quiet. Debt, however, is patient. And the next income jump will not fix habits that this one never built. But none of that is inevitable. The 5 moves that I walked through today are not complicated. They just require deciding, intentionally, early, and before the spending decisions make themselves, what kind of financial life that you are building. Start before you're ready. That is always the answer. So if any of this resonated, if you are stepping into a new income level and want to make sure that you are starting on the right foot, feel free to reach out. I work with people at every stage of the financial journey, and I'm always happy to have a conversation. Link to schedule a call is in the description. If this was helpful, subscribe. New videos every week with no fluff, just real planning conversation for people who are serious about building something. I'll see you in the next one.